Balochistan. The very name conjures images of rugged mountains and arid plains. It is a land of stark beauty, a vast territory stretching across the Iranian plateau. This region forms the southwestern part of Pakistan, a significant portion indeed. It also extends into southeastern Iran and a smaller part of southern Afghanistan. Its geography is truly diverse, a tapestry woven with formidable mountain ranges. The Suleiman Mountains rise majestically in the northeast. The Toba Kakar Range acts as a natural boundary. These highlands then give way to expansive desert plains and a long, captivating coastline along the Arabian Sea. This coastline, known as the Makran Coast, has witnessed countless voyages and interactions over millennia, a silent observer of history. The strategic location of Balochistan cannot be overstated, you see. It sits at a crucial crossroads, a meeting point of South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. This geographical placement has shaped its destiny in profound ways. It has served as a corridor for migrations, a route for traders, and a stage for empires. The land itself is rich in natural resources, though often challenging to access. Minerals lie hidden beneath its ancient rocks. Natural gas reserves are significant. Its long coastline offers immense potential for maritime activities. Understanding this geography is key to understanding Balochistan's long and often turbulent history, its cultural fabric, and the spirit of its people. The climate here is predominantly arid and semi-arid. Summers can be intensely hot, especially in the plains. Winters, particularly in the highlands, can be quite cold. Water is a precious commodity, a life-giving resource that has shaped settlement patterns and agricultural practices for centuries. The hardy flora and fauna that survive here are uniquely adapted to these harsh conditions. Think of the resilient juniper forests in the Ziyarat region or the elusive wildlife that roams the remote wilderness. This environment has bred a resilient and resourceful people. They've learned to live in harmony with a demanding land, their traditions and lifestyles deeply intertwined with its rhythms. This essay will take you on a journey through time. We will explore the ancient roots of Balochistan. We will look at its role in some of the world's earliest civilizations. We will trace the influences of mighty empires. We will see how different cultures and faiths have left their mark. Finally, we will arrive at a pivotal moment in its modern history, its incorporation into Pakistan in 1948. It is a story of continuity and change, of ancient legacies and new beginnings. So, let us begin this exploration of Balochistan, a land of ancient secrets and enduring significance. Long before recorded history, Balochistan was home to early humans. Archaeological evidence paints a fascinating picture of prehistoric life. Stone tools dating back tens of thousands of years have been discovered in various parts of the region. These simple yet ingenious implements tell us of hunter-gatherer communities. They roamed these lands, following herds of animals and gathering wild plants. They lived in small, mobile groups, adapting to the changing seasons and the availability of resources. Imagine these early people, their lives dictated by the raw forces of nature, their survival a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. The caves and rock shelters that dot the landscape may well have been their first homes. These early inhabitants were keen observers of their environment. They understood the movements of animals, the properties of plants, and the cycles of nature. This knowledge was crucial for their survival. Over time, some of these groups began to settle in more permanent locations. This often happened in areas where water and food were more readily available. The transition from a nomadic lifestyle to a more settled existence was a gradual process. It marked a significant step in human development in this region. These early settlements laid the groundwork for the sophisticated cultures that would later emerge in Balochistan. The archaeological record, though still incomplete, offers tantalizing glimpses into their world. We find evidence of early art in the form of rock carvings and paintings. These ancient artworks depict animals, hunting scenes, and perhaps spiritual beliefs. They are a window into the minds of these prehistoric people. They show us their connection to the natural world and their attempts to make sense of their existence. The study of these sites continues, with each new discovery adding another piece to the puzzle of Balochistan's deep past. It is a story that is constantly being unearthed, literally. Balochistan, therefore, was not an empty land waiting to be discovered. It was a vibrant landscape peopled by communities who possessed a rich understanding of their surroundings. They were the pioneers, the first to call this rugged terrain home. Their legacy is etched into the very stones and soil of Balochistan. Their struggles and triumphs paved the way for the complex societies that followed. As we delve deeper into Balochistan's history, we must remember these foundational communities. They are the silent ancestors whose presence still resonates across this ancient land. One of the most remarkable chapters in Balochistan's ancient history unfolds at Mehrgarh. This site, located on the Kachi Plain, is truly extraordinary. It is one of the earliest known farming and herding settlements in South Asia. Its origins can be traced back to around 7000 BCE, a Neolithic marvel indeed. The people of Mehrgarh were pioneers in agriculture. They cultivated wheat and barley, domesticating these vital crops. They also herded cattle, sheep and goats, marking a shift towards a more stable food supply. This agricultural revolution was a turning point in human history in this part of the world. The excavations at Mehrgarh have revealed a sophisticated society. Archaeologists have unearthed multi-roomed mud brick houses. These structures suggest a settled, organized community. They found evidence of advanced craftsmanship. Beautifully crafted pottery, intricate beadwork, and stone tools have been recovered. These artifacts speak of skilled artisans and a developing aesthetic sense. The people of Mehrgarh were not just surviving, they were creating and innovating. They were laying the foundations for urban life. The site shows continuous occupation for several millennia, evolving through different phases of development. What is particularly fascinating about Mehrgarh is its evidence of early dentistry. Yes, you heard that right. Archaeologists found human remains with teeth that showed signs of drilling. This suggests a rudimentary form of dental care practiced thousands of years ago. It is a testament to their ingenuity and their attempts to alleviate suffering. Mehrgarh also provides early evidence of cotton cultivation in the subcontinent. This had significant implications for textile production and trade in later periods. The site offers a continuous archaeological record, showing the evolution from early farming villages to more complex societies. Mehrgarh's importance cannot be overstated. It provides crucial insights into the antecedents of the great Indus Valley civilization. Many scholars believe that the cultural developments at Mehrgarh contributed significantly to the rise of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. It was a crucible of innovation, a place where new ideas and technologies took root. The legacy of Mehrgarh is immense. It represents a critical stage in the human journey from small, scattered settlements to the dawn of urban civilization in South Asia. Balochistan, through Mehrgarh, holds a key to understanding this remarkable transformation. As civilization flourished in Mehrgarh, another great society was taking shape nearby. This was the Indus Valley civilization, also known as the Harappan civilization. It emerged around 2600 BCE in the plains of the Indus River and its tributaries. Balochistan, with its earlier developments, played a crucial role in this story. There were strong connections between the highlands of Balochistan and the cities of the Indus Valley. These connections were vital for trade and cultural exchange. The rugged terrain did not prevent interaction, rather it channeled it along specific routes. The people of the Indus Valley relied on Balochistan for various raw materials. Copper, for instance, was an important metal used for tools, weapons and ornaments. Some of this copper likely came from mines in Balochistan. Lapis lazuli, a beautiful blue stone prized for jewelry, was traded from regions further north, passing through Balochistan. Timber from the highland forest may also have been transported to the Indus cities. In return, finished goods from the Indus Valley, such as pottery and beads, found their way into Balochistan. This two-way flow of goods enriched both regions. Archaeological evidence supports these extensive trade links. Harappan-style pottery and seals have been found at several sites in Balochistan. Similarly, artifacts characteristic of Balochistani cultures have been discovered in Indus Valley cities. This indicates a close and sustained interaction. It was not just about goods, ideas and technologies also traveled along these routes. The urban planning and sophisticated drainage systems of the Indus cities were remarkable achievements. While Balochistan largely maintained its distinct cultural identity, it was undoubtedly part of a larger interactive sphere. The influence was mutual, a complex interplay of cultures. The decline of the Indus Valley civilization around 1900 BCE also had an impact on Balochistan. The reasons for this decline are still debated by scholars. Climate change, Environmental degradation or shifts in trade patterns may have played a role. As the great cities of the Indus waned, settlement patterns in Balochistan also underwent changes. However, the legacy of this interaction endured. The knowledge and skills developed during this period continued to shape the cultural landscape of Balochistan for centuries to come. It remained a vital link between the Indian subcontinent and the lands to the west. Section 5. Empires Rise and Fall, Persian and Greek Footprints. After the decline of the Indus Valley civilization, Balochistan continued to be a region of strategic importance. Around the 6th century BCE, a new power rose in the west, the Achaemenid Persian Empire. This mighty empire, founded by Cyrus the Great, extended its dominion over a vast territory. Balochistan, or parts of it, came under Achaemenid influence. The region was known in Persian inscriptions as Makkah or Makran. It was one of the satrapies or provinces of the empire. Persian rule brought a degree of political stability and facilitated trade along the royal road. The Achaemenid presence left its mark on the region. We see influences in administration and possibly in art and architecture. Though archaeological evidence is sometimes sparse, the Persians were skilled administrators and engineers. They developed infrastructure to manage their vast empire. The people of Balochistan likely contributed soldiers and tribute to the Persian kings. This period connected Balochistan more firmly to the wider Near Eastern world. The cultural exchange that occurred during Achaemenid rule added another layer to Balochistan's diverse heritage. It was a time of integration into a larger imperial system. Then, in the 4th century BCE, a new conqueror emerged from the west, Alexander the Great of Macedon. After defeating the Achaemenid Empire, Alexander led his armies eastward. His campaigns took him through parts of what is now Balochistan. The return journey of a portion of his army, led by Alexander himself, through the harsh Makran desert was particularly arduous. Historical accounts describe the immense suffering endured by his soldiers due to heat, thirst, and difficult terrain. This episode highlights the challenging environment of southern Balochistan. It also underscores its strategic location, even for a conqueror like Alexander. Following Alexander's death, his vast empire fragmented. The region came under the influence of the Seleucid Empire, one of the successor states. Greek cultural influences known as Hellenism spread across the east. While the direct impact of Hellenism in Balochistan might have been less pronounced than in other areas, it was part of this broader cultural milieu. Trade continued, and Greek artistic styles may have influenced local crafts. For centuries, Balochistan remained a frontier zone, where indigenous cultures interacted with the great empires and civilizations that rose and fell around it. This constant interplay shaped its unique character. Section 6. The Dawn of a New Faith, Islam's Arrival in Balochistan. The 7th century CE witnessed a momentous change in the Arabian Peninsula, the rise of Islam. This new faith spread rapidly, and within a few decades, Muslim armies reached the borders of Balochistan. The Arab conquest of Makran began in the mid-7th century during the Rashidun Caliphate. Early military expeditions faced stiff resistance from local rulers and the challenging terrain. However, by the early 8th century, under the Umayyad Caliphate, Arab control over parts of Balochistan, particularly Makran, was more firmly established. Muhammad bin Qasim's conquest of Sind in 711 CE also had implications for the region. The spread of Islam in Balochistan was a gradual process. It was not solely the result of military conquest. Trade played a significant role. Arab merchants had been active along the Makran coast even before the advent of Islam. Sufi mystics and preachers also traveled to the region, spreading the teachings of Islam through peaceful means. Their message of equality and social justice resonated with many local people. Over centuries, Islam became the dominant faith in Balochistan. Mosques were built, and Islamic learning centers were established. Local customs and traditions often blended with Islamic practices, creating a unique cultural synthesis. The early Islamic period saw the integration of Balochistan into a vast Islamic empire. This facilitated trade and cultural exchange across a wide area, from Spain to Central Asia. Balochistan's strategic location continued to be important. It served as a gateway to India for travelers and traders from the west. The region was administered by various Islamic dynasties over the centuries. These included the Safarids, Ghaznavids, and Ghurids. Each left its mark. on the political and cultural landscape of Balochistan. The development of towns and trade routes continued under their rule. The Baloch people themselves played an active role in this new Islamic world. They adopted the faith while retaining their distinct linguistic and cultural identity. Their tribal structures and traditions remained strong. The epic poetry of the Baloch, which often recounts tales of heroism and tribal history, began to incorporate Islamic themes alongside older legends. The arrival of Islam thus marked a profound transformation in Balochistan. It reshaped its religious and cultural identity, while also connecting it more closely to a global community of faith and learning. This new chapter added yet another rich layer to its already complex history. Section 7. The Khanate of Kalat, a beacon of Baloch identity. As various empires rose and fell, the Baloch people continued to assert their own identity. A significant development in their political history was the emergence of the Khanate of Kalat. Around the 17th century, Mir Ahmad Khan Kambrani established a confederacy of Baloch tribes. This confederacy was centered around the town of Kalat, located in the highlands of central Balochistan. The Khanate of Kalat became a focal point of Baloch power and autonomy for a considerable period. It provided a degree of unity and centralized governance for many Baloch tribes, though its authority often varied across different regions. The Khans of Kalat, who belonged to the Ahmadzai Brahui dynasty, ruled over a diverse population. This included Baloch, Brahui, and other groups. The Khanate was not a monolithic state in the modern sense. It was more of a tribal confederation, with the Khan acting as a paramount chief. The relationship between the Khan and the various tribal sardars, or chiefs, was complex. It often involved negotiation, alliances, and sometimes conflict. Nevertheless, the Khanate provided a framework for governance and dispute resolution. It helped to preserve Baloch traditions and customary law. The Khanate of Kalat maintained its independence for a significant period. It navigated complex relationships with neighboring powers, including the Mughals in India and the Safavids in Persia. The Khans were skilled diplomats, often balancing the interests of larger empires to protect their own autonomy. The reign of Mir Nasir Khan Nuri in the 18th century is often considered a golden age for the Khanate. He expanded its territory and consolidated its power. He is remembered as a great Baloch ruler who promoted unity and justice. His era saw a flourishing of Baloch culture and literature. The Khanate's flag, with its distinctive colors and symbols, became a potent emblem of Baloch identity. The court of Kalat patronized poets, scholars, and artisans. The traditions of Baloch hospitality and bravery were celebrated. Even as external pressures mounted, particularly with the arrival of the British, the Khanate of Kalat remained a symbol of Baloch aspirations for self-rule. Its existence played a crucial role in shaping the political consciousness of the Baloch people. It is a legacy that continues to resonate in the region today, a reminder of a time of greater autonomy. Section 8. The Shadow of the Raj, British Influence, and the Great Game. The 19th century brought a new and powerful player onto the stage of Balochistan, the British Empire. Britain's interest in the region was driven by its expanding colonial presence in India. It was also fueled by the Great Game, a strategic rivalry between Britain and Tsarist Russia for influence in Central Asia. Balochistan, with its strategic location bordering Afghanistan and Persia, became a crucial buffer zone. The British sought to secure their western frontier in India and prevent Russian encroachment. This geopolitical contest had a profound impact on Balochistan. The British engaged in a series of treaties and military expeditions to assert their influence. The First Anglo-Afghan War from 1839 to 1842 saw British forces passing through Balochistan. They occupied Kalat for a period. These interventions often led to conflict with Baloch tribes who resisted foreign interference. Figures like Merab Khan, the Khan of Kalat, who died defending his capital, became symbols of resistance. Despite this resistance, British power gradually grew. They established political agencies and cantonments in key locations. The Sandeman system, named after Sir Robert Sandeman, was introduced. This involved working through local tribal chiefs, offering them subsidies and recognition in return for loyalty. Under British influence, Balochistan was divided into several administrative units. There was British Balochistan, directly administered by the British. Then there were the princely states, including Kalat, Karan, Lasbela and Makran. These states retained a degree of internal autonomy but were subject to British suzerainty in matters of defence and foreign affairs. The British invested in some infrastructure development. Railways and telegraph lines were built, primarily for strategic military purposes. These developments also facilitated trade to some extent, but their main aim was to consolidate British control. The impact of British rule was complex. On one hand, it brought a degree of stability and an end to some internal tribal conflicts. On the other hand, it led to the loss of sovereignty and the imposition of foreign control. The traditional political structures were altered. The economy was increasingly geared towards serving British imperial interests. The drawing of arbitrary borders, such as the Durand Line separating Balochistan from Afghanistan, had long-lasting consequences. The British period was a transformative era for Balochistan. It set the stage for the challenges and opportunities that would arise in the 20th century. Section 9, A New Beginning, Balochistan and the Birth of Pakistan. The mid-20th century was a period of momentous change across the Indian subcontinent. The British Empire was winding down and the movement for independence was gaining momentum. In 1947, British India was partitioned, leading to the creation of two new independent nations, India and Pakistan. The future of the princely states, including those in Balochistan, became a critical question. These states were given the option to accede to either India or Pakistan, or, in theory, to remain independent. This period was marked by intense political negotiations and considerable uncertainty. The Khan of Kalat, Ahmad Yar Khan, initially harbored hopes of independence for his state. He argued that Kalat had a distinct historical identity and treaty relationships with the British that were different from those of other Indian princely states. Negotiations were held between Kalat and the leaders of the newly formed Pakistan. There were discussions about the terms of accession and the degree of autonomy Kalat would retain. These were complex and sensitive talks, involving legal arguments, historical precedents, and political pressures. The Shahi Jirga, or Royal Council, and the Kalat State National Party also voiced their views on the matter. Ultimately, in March 1948, the Khan of Kalat signed the Instrument of Accession and Kalat became part of Pakistan. The other Baloch states of Karan, Lasbela and Makran also acceded to Pakistan around the same time. The incorporation of Balochistan into Pakistan marked the beginning of a new chapter in its long history. It was a decision that was met with mixed reactions within Balochistan itself. Some welcomed the union, hoping for development and progress within the new nation. Others expressed concerns about the loss of autonomy and the protection of Baloch rights and identity. The accession of Balochistan to Pakistan was not the end of the story, but rather the start of a new set of challenges and opportunities. The vast, resource-rich region faced significant issues of underdevelopment. Questions of political representation, economic share, and cultural preservation became prominent in the years that followed. The journey of Balochistan within Pakistan has been complex, marked by periods of cooperation and conflict. Its unique history, strategic importance, and the aspirations of its people continue to shape its path. Understanding this historical journey from ancient settlements to its modern incorporation is essential for appreciating the complexities of Balochistan today.